folks. I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Chris Dunn.
And you're listening to episode 15 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And it's been 3 weeks since our last episode. That's because last week I was in a lot of pain. I think it was it Seth on the Ludowave Radio Twitter said I had a stiff neck? Is that...
Yeah, that was me, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... I know you're making fun of me, but actually, I fucked up my trapezius muscles.
Nobody knows what that is.
My traps, I guess, is the bodybuilding world might call them.
Okay, well, have you seen me? I don't know anything about bodybuilding either.
Right. No, I have seen you, and no, you don't. No, they're like giant muscles in your back.
I don't have giant muscles anywhere. Maybe in your back.
You saying I'm fat?
No, I'm saying I'm incredibly scrawny.
I was just going to say you're right. I'm not arguing with that assessment. No, they're muscles that you have them on the left and the right, and they go from the base of your skull down to halfway down your back and then over to your shoulder. So they're sort of like triangles on both sides of your back. And it was so bad last week that I actually thought I pinched a nerve. I thought like there was something actually fucked up with like my skeleton and my central nervous system. And I went to a doctor. This is the second time I've been to a doctor in the past 10 years, so I basically don't go unless I'm dying.
Right.
And he's like, nah, this is just a strain. I'm like, just a strain? It's like, it's been 2.5 weeks at this point. It's been a month now. And he's like, oh, it could last even longer. I'm like, oh, fuck you, dude. And, you know, you ask for the causes, and it's like basically everything, like your entire life. He's like, stress, your posture at the computer, sitting too long, driving too long, playing video games, your bed. He's like, how's your pillow? I'm like, my pillow's fine. He's like, how's your mattress? I'm like, my mattress is 25 years old. And he's like, get yourself a new mattress, dude. So we did that. We spent $2,700 on a robot bed. It moves. Jesus. It moves. It's nice. It's pretty good. We needed a new one anyway. We were going to do that. Just this kind of moved that up a little bit. Basically tried everything at this point, but it's still there. I still have the problem, and it's better. It doesn't feel like a pinched nerve anymore, but it's just not gone, and it's frustrating. I feel like my frustration that I have it cycles back into it and makes it worse. It's like this self-perpetuating thing now. And yeah, I don't know what to do.
Have you tried any like chiropractic adjustments or anything?
No, I haven't. The only two things I haven't done is take off like prolonged time from work or like chiropractic or like massage stuff. So I actually did schedule a massage. I'm having a massage on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, it fucking sucks. Like some days it's just so bad that at the end of the day, the muscles can't support my dumb fat head anymore. And I just can't. Like, you know, the human head is so heavy, you don't realize how heavy it is until.
Well, I mean, especially yours. It's
right.
Like,
it's a dumb fat head.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Plus all that hair. So it's. You don't realize how much those muscles are doing until they're fucked up.
Right.
Have you tried getting a haircut?
Okay, that's. I haven't tried 3 things: taking time off from work, getting a massage, or getting a haircut. So that's. But no, this is terrible. Like it's. I can't even. I don't even. I have no idea what could have caused it.
It's like just getting old shit. Like lately, and by lately, I mean just this past week, my foot has been just cramping up all the time, and I have no idea why. And like, it'll even start like going numb a little, but then it'll like be fine again. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see a doctor about this. So it's fine right now. If it gets worse, I'm gonna have to like eventually see somebody. But why? It's just like getting old. My feet didn't used to cramp for no reason.
I imagine getting older is part of it. Like my posture isn't great, but it's not bad. And at work, I make a point to like get up and move around, so I'm not like sitting at the computer 8 hours a day or anything. And you know, I'm not doing video game marathon sessions anymore. I'm not 17, So, I mean, yeah, I guess there are things in my life that could contribute to it, but just like to make it this bad, I don't know. I don't think so. Stress maybe, but I've never felt stress actually physically manifest itself in this way before. So who knows? I've also never been 34 years old before, so who the fuck knows?
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I fucking guess so. I don't know, man. But it sucks. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's just you like, yeah, I got an owie in my neck, but it fucking sucks.
It sucks the doctor couldn't tell you like one specific thing that could be causing this. You know, he's like, oh, sit up straight, get a new bed, do these 6 different things, and maybe one of them will help.
Right, and I did all those things, and it's still, like I said, it's better. It's not what it was when it was at its worst.
Right.
But it's still here. It's like I did all the things he fucking told me to do, and it's still here. But, yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, I wish I knew what it was so I could actually fix that thing. That's the problem. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be fixing.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
But, yeah, anyway, I mean, that's basically consumed my life for the past few weeks. It's just, it's one of those things that just gnaws at you, and it makes you less productive. You can't relax. You know, it just eats away at you because it's persistently there. It just makes you, if it's not painful, it's at the very least uncomfortable. And so it sucks.
Maybe you could just get used to it. Like, I'm in constant pain now. Oh well.
This is chronic pain. This is my life.
Yep.
I guess I got to call J.G. Wentworth or whatever.
J.G. Wentworth.
How are you doing, Seth?
I'm all right. Like, I have literally nothing has happened to me in 3 weeks, so we could pass.
Is that a good thing though? Because you weren't doing too great last time.
Yeah, I'm doing better. And it's all thanks to Yokai Watch. That's kind of true, but I'll talk about that later.
You talk about that later. I've actually been in sort of like a manic period lately myself, but I can't do anything about it because it's cold and dark here, and I have a neck owie. So it's like I have all this mania, and usually I'm very productive and creative and sociable when I'm manic, but right now I can't do anything with it. So that's very frustrating.
All right.
I cannot make my mental health problems work for me right now.
Mine was just, severe lack of motivation to do anything where I'll just be laying in bed all day. I basically forced myself to play like anything, like just any video game, and I figured Yokai Watch would be the easiest because it's like made for kids and it's like stars a kid just running around a town.
The battles play themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, this should be super easy to like motivate myself to actually do anything. And it actually worked. It like kickstarted, and I started like cleaning my living space more and started playing other games. So thanks, Yokai Watch.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fine. I mean, I don't have chronic pain or depression, so I guess that's a good thing. But
step up on us.
You're ahead of the game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot either. I mean, I just haven't had a lot of time. Like, I've been working long hours at work, and I've been getting up at 5 a.m. and running 6 days a week. And then I get home and I make dinner, and I don't have any. I end up going to sleep at 9 o'clock, and that doesn't leave much time to do anything. So when we were going to record last week, I had played like 40 minutes of a video game while I was watching the State of the Union. And that's literally all the time I had to play last week. So, no, I mean, things are going well. Like, I'm glad that I'm running and I'm glad that work is going well and all that. But it doesn't, I wish I had a little more free time to relax and stuff. So things are going well, but just not a whole lot to talk about.
Man, you're asleep at 9 and awake at 5. I think you're officially super old.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah. I even get up at 5 on like the weekends.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I go to bed between 9 and 10 and get up at 5.
You motherfuckers.
Jackie had a snow day today, so we stayed up till 11 last night.
Ooh,
wow.
Wisconsin snow day. What was it, like 13 inches?
I think it was supposed to be like 8. It ended up being like 6. So
yeah,
they should not have canceled school.
All right, never mind.
It was a
no, I get it. I just rolled right on past that one.
All right. I don't know. Should we just like break into this thing?
Yeah, let's just snap into a Slim Jim.
Crack open a cold one.
Well, I've been playing some games. I'm playing, of course, Overwatch, but I've been playing less of that because I actually think Overwatch was contributing to my muscle issue. I play Overwatch very intensely. It's probably the only competitive game that I've put effort into getting good at. Like Destiny or like Titanfall, I've gotten good at just because over time you just get good at them. But with Overwatch, like I actually like read up on strategies. I watch videos. Megan and I watch Overwatch League matches. You know, I put effort.
Poor Megan.
No, she loves it. Megan was actually just playing Overwatch this minute. She loves it. She loves Overwatch.
All right.
So I strangle the controller when I play. I've noticed that like there's like a death grip on the controller. My eyes are bulging from my head. I'm screaming at my teammates. No, I'm very intense when I play because I'm good at it and I like being good at it. And unfortunately, it actually turns out that's actually not good for me. So I have been playing lately, and I won't play again. I think until this actually clears up totally, which is unfortunate because I do love Overwatch.
Did you tell the doctor that you've been playing Overwatch? And he's like, "Oh, it's Overwatch. That's what all my patients have been doing."
Hi, everybody. I think I found the problem.
That is the worst Dr. Nick. That was so horrifying.
I don't even know what his accent is. I don't even know what I'm trying to imitate.
At least we knew it was Dr. Nick, so there's something to be said for that.
I think I deserve a little bit of credit there.
Nah.
No, but he did. No, you're right. It was terrible, and I apologize for that. No, but he did say that video games could be contributing to it. I played some Night in the Woods on Switch. That got a release on Switch, and that is a really good home for like story based like adventure games. Because Megan had downloaded Oxenfree, and she played like through it in a day. And it's just because it's just a great device. That's a good sized screen, to play like an intimate little story game on.
Right.
It's really good. I've actually the last couple of days I've been playing Digimon Cyber Sleuth on the Vita. I bought it on PS4 back when it first came out because I wanted a physical version of it, and we didn't get the physical Vita release here.
Right.
But it was on sale on PSN for like $12, and I'm like, okay, well I guess I'll buy it twice. That's fine.
Yeah, I was playing my PS4 and I was looking at my friends' list and I was like, I saw Craig online on his Vita. I'm like, what the fuck is he playing a Vita for in this day and age?
I think it was actually showing you every single person playing a Vita right now.
There's just me.
Craig.
Just
Craig.
Craig.
That's it. But that Digimon game is actually really good. It's a lot like other Japanese RPGs in that it's trying to emulate Shin Megami Tensei, specifically Persona to some degree, with like the modern Japan, the bright colors, the upbeat music. It doesn't quite pull that off. The writing's not nearly as good. The writing's actually kind of shitty, and the music is not nearly as good. But the gameplay, the way the game plays, is actually really, really good. It's like way better than you would think like a Digimon game released in the 21st century would play like. I actually do highly recommend that. That's actually a really fun game.
There's a sequel coming out soon, right?
I think it already came out, but I
think
don't.
It's out in Japan. I don't know about the U.S.
I could have sworn there was something out here.
Maybe. It's not like I'm keeping up on the latest Digimon news.
Right, that's exactly right. I don't really know. I just heard that this game was surprisingly really good, and I bought it, and it turned out that it was true. It was actually surprisingly really good. But mainly what I've been playing is Monster Hunter World. Did either of you get this?
I did not.
I didn't either.
I suck too much at Monster Hunter. Like if I play Monster Hunter for like a week straight, I'll start to get good at it, and then if I miss a few days, I'm terrible again. So I can't keep up with the Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's really good. And it's nice to see that it's getting a lot of recognition. Actually, as a tangent, I feel like recently when it comes to video games, it's like peak Craig hot takes from like 2010. Like everyone's into Yakuza, everyone's into Monster Hunter, everyone likes handheld games, everyone likes indie games. It turns out everyone hates Quantic Dream now, and I'm like, this is what I've been telling everyone.
You're just ahead of the game, Craig.
I was really ahead of the game. I'm going to be
hipster of video games.
I'm going to be a little smug about it, but nah. I mean, it's just really cool to see like people come around on stuff that you've been, banging the drum for years.
It's Capcom's fastest selling game, by the way, like ever. It's already at 6 million shipped or something.
Wow.
It's because, I was thinking about this, and, I've previously said, I prefer Monster Hunter on portables, and I do. And, that's obviously, partially because I prefer portables, partially because it's traditionally been a portable series. But that's also because the console versions have been really lackluster. The ones that were designed specifically for console weren't very good, and other ones like Monster Hunter, Tri on like the Wii were just portable ones, scaled up or whatever. But this one is like built to be a console, like to be a full-fledged like blockbuster console game. And I feel like this is the first time Capcom's actually put that effort into it. I'm not sure what made them want to do that, because this has been nothing but a niche series worldwide. Obviously very popular in Japan, but everywhere else, it's a curio. So I don't know why they pumped the money into this. It had to be a gamble. I'm glad it paid off, but it feels like a big budget console game for the first time in the series. And so in that way, it works really well. The online component though is like, really shitty.
In what regards?
Well, it's very clumsy. It's very Japanese and clumsy.
I feel like that's how they've always been. Like, it fucking took me like an hour to figure out how to play with anybody when I played a Try on my Wii or whatever, and then...
Well, I think in the past it was easier to accept the clumsiness because it was either on a handheld, or it was on the fucking Wii, or it was on the PS2. Like, these are not platforms known for their robust, online features. But, now that you're on a PS4 and an Xbox One, it needs to be a little bit smooth. Like, you'll start up the game and you'll load up into the hub area, and you'll go through I don't know, like several different menu prompts to like load up online. Like, do you want to play online? Do you want to be public? Do you just want to match make random people? Like, it asks you all these questions. Like, just do it for me. Like when you play Destiny, because this is very similar. I don't mean to drag Destiny up every other podcast, but it's basically very similar. You start Monster Hunter, you're in a hub area. It can load in random people online who are also playing. Destiny does the same exact thing, but it doesn't ask or tell you anything. You just turn it on, and the people are there. And so having to go through all these menu prompts in the year 2018 just to load people up into your hub feels kind of backwards. You know what I mean? Yeah. But even when you're playing online, I think it's it might be with friends too. But basically, like there's like this weird thing where like if someone hasn't seen a cutscene, they can't load into the area with you yet, or something like that. Yeah, it's very strange. There's like this weird thing that it does with like cutscenes and loading people together. That's something they really have to fix because it's really ass backwards. So yeah, no, the online's very, very not modern, but the rest of it is. And it's great to me. Like I said, I'm still going to prefer it on handhelds, but this is a really good console release for Monster Hunter, and the streamlining they've done has been like really smart streamlining. There's stuff that I was worried about when they first revealed the game, like, oh, they're dumbing it down, and they absolutely did not do that. Like, they sped up. If you're collecting resources like plants and stuff, there isn't a really long animation for that anymore. You just kind of grab the plant and move on. But the instances that matter when you have to commit to animations, that's still there. So like, attack animations, those are still there. Those are still very important. And to people who have played like, Souls games or Bloodborne or whatever, like they'll know what I'm talking about. The attack animations are very important. Sharpening your blade with like a whetstone, like the animation's there. The only one that I don't like is when you kill a monster and you go to like carve off pieces of it, there's an animation for that. And you can be attacked during that animation. And I get the balance of that. It's like you're in the middle of a battle. Do I stop and carve off this, bone or whatever, and I could be attacked in the middle of that? Or do I try to kill this monster first and go and do that and go back and carve stuff off of it? And I get that there's that gameplay balance for that particular mechanic. But the problem is that monsters' bodies disappear after a short period of time, which means that if you don't try to carve that off in the middle of a battle, it may not be there after the battle. And that just, monsters fading away on a PlayStation 4 just doesn't, I get that they can't stay there forever. But like when you're playing on like the fucking PSP, I get why they got to disappear in like 30 seconds. I don't get that on a PS4. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like I shouldn't have to like scramble to carve this thing off before it disappears while trying to negotiate, 3 other monsters that are still alive. That doesn't, like I said, I get like the tension they want to build there, but I don't like that. That's got to go.
Are the controls still weird as hell where you're like scrolling through your items bar with the face buttons and stuff?
Yeah, but then there's also a quick select wheel you can pull up now. So you can do it both ways. You can do it the classic way, or you can pull up that wheel and hit something real quick.
It sounds a little better.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
The controls in those games have always been weird as hell.
They're very esoteric. The whole game is it still has that weird, exotic, like esoteric feeling, like where like you really have to like learn all these weird button combinations and armor skills and all this weird shit the game just never explains to you. I mean, that's another like the online, another thing that kind of keeps it from being too modern is that it just doesn't explain anything to you. A lot of like modern blockbusters will go over every nook and cranny in some sort of tutorial. This game, it has tutorials. It has probably the most tutorials of any Monster Hunter, I guess. So yeah, they put in the effort, but there's just some shit. It just doesn't bother fucking explaining to you.
Yeah, no. Monster Hunter is one of those weird-ass games. I have to, like, relearn how to use the Switch X whenever I play a Monster Hunter game, because I'm like, wait, you store stuff with R and then unleash it? They're weird games.
They're very weird. They don't operate in a traditional
strangely.
way. They do.
Yeah.
You don't level up. It's not like that kind of RPG.
No, you just grind items and level up armor at a smith and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. That's how you get stronger and more, and build up better defenses by building better weapons and armor. And that seems straightforward at first, like, oh, you need these pieces to build this armor set, but later on you want to upgrade it with like armor spheres, and then you want to build out these particular skills and trying out different weapons and stuff. Like
branch out different ways. Like if I use this, my armor will turn to that. If I use it, it'll turn into that. Like they're crazy.
Yep. It's definitely a time sink, and if it's something you actually want to put the time into and play socially, these are great games to play socially. It's really good for that, but you really have to be committed to like learn it, because it is. I think what trips people up is that it feels familiar. It seems like oh, I know this. It's just an action RPG online. I get this, and then it just throws you for a loop. And I think it lulls you into a false sense of security that you get what's going on when in reality you don't.
Yeah, that's how the first time I went into a monster game, I was like, oh, it's like PSO, right? And no, it's not like fucking PSO at all.
No. But no, they're doing. The Capcom's doing really well with this game, and they deserve it. They did a really good job. There's some stuff that could be improved, and some things I like to see different. But it's really good. And that's about it for me. What have you been playing, Seth?
I mentioned Yokai Watch, and man, this game's stupid though. Like it's like cute or whatever, but just like everything about it is dumb. Like to get a monster to join you, like you might feeding it during a battle might sort of help you, and then it might ask to join you afterwards, but it might not. It's just completely random. There's no like catching
random.
them.
Yeah,
there's no catching it like Pokemon. You just got to like hope that you come across a monster you want to catch and that he'll ask to join you. Like you said, the battles play out by themselves. It's very passive, and you just charge up the guys, the monsters supers, or you God, what's it called when they're get funked? They're sealed or something. I don't know. They get all foggy, and you got to like remove a curse off.
Oh, you got to
them.
remove the curse. Well, I mean, there's also that like you have to rotate them around, in and out.
That's the pretty neat part. There's a wheel. There's a wheel with 6 monsters on it, and there's like 3 above line and then 3 below the line, and only the 3 above the line are in play at a time. And then you could rotate the wheel with the shoulder buttons to change which 3 are fighting at a time. So if like one's almost dead or is dead or needs to be healed, you just rotate him out, and then you could fix him while the other dudes are fighting, which is pretty neat.
And you could strategically put yokai next to each other that have affinities for each other.
Like, the game has not explained, and I don't know if it will, hasn't explained, like, which, like, yokai powers are strong against which other yokai powers. And I don't even know what the hell they are. There's, like, just symbols of, like, hearts or
doodle on the screen, tap the bubbles.
Like, I don't know what the hell. So I don't know what these affinities are and what they're strong against or what they're weak against.
Well, I think it's the types. If you go in there, yeah. It's the types that build affinity.
But then, like, so there's like a happy type. What's it strong against?
It's not. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it's a good question. I never really dug into that because I don't think the game does explain that.
No, it doesn't. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
And there might be that might be the way it works, but I don't think it's so much that like the happy type is strong against another. I think it's just that you pair those two together.
All right, I did do that, and I guess they get little stat bonuses and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's just not super engaging to play. It's the battles are very passive. I like fought a boss at a school that was some sort of multi-headed dragon or something, and then I sort of stopped playing the game. But it did get me out of my funk, so at least it did that much. And I knew it was going to be this easy game going in, so I guess it did its job. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it or not.
I like to think of like to think of like the player character as like the yokai's like manager or coach. You're not like directly.
It's a soccer coach simulator.
Kinda. You're just sort of like giving them ideas. Like you're not really calling the shots so much as like you're giving them suggestions in battle. I don't know.
Yo, stab this guy.
It's just kind of nice to play a game that it's just a really well made game that doesn't demand a lot from you.
I like the whole concept of the yokais like causing mischief unseen to people, making them depressed or hungry or sad and stuff like that. That's
yeah.
It's like the gremlins in the engine or whatnot.
It's like the game is a yokai, but instead of making you sad, it made you happy.
That's true. There was a little happy yokai in there.
Yeah.
I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighters, I think is how it's pronounced.
It's the worst fucking name in the world.
I thought it was like Dragon Ball Fighter Z for a long time because there's a big old capital Z there. But then, like, I hear their promotional material and they're calling it Dragon Ball Fighters, and I'm like, all right, I guess it's just pronounced Fighters.
They tweeted something about it. I saw it's Fighters.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, number one, you put a Z there. That's already like the dumbest fucking name ever. But then you capitalize the Z. You can't blame people for thinking that's Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah, and I read something. One of the producers or something said that they named it that because Americans really like the letter Z in their Dragon Ball titles. In their Dragon Ball titles.
Oh, it's just called Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I don't understand what's wrong with that name.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Anyways, the game's actually really cool. Where should I start? All right, so when you load up the game, there's just a ton of lobbies to choose from, and you want to choose whatever area. And it'll be like USA, West Coast, and there'll be lots of lobbies. And then you join like a 60-person lobby, and it brings you to this little hub world that's like a cute little chibi Dragon Ball style world with different points of interest on it. And you could either quick menu or you could walk around to like the different little locations, and there'll be like online fighting, and there'll be like a local play, or there'll be story mode or whatever. And since it's a lobby and there's 60 people lobbies, you'll see like everybody else's little avatars, and you could choose your own avatar, and you could see like everybody walking around in these lobbies. And you could also throw down what's called a ring match, where you just want to fight anybody who joins you. So you could just start a ring match. A little ring will appear around you, and you could like walk up to that person and start a fight with them. And it'll go like into a whole fighting lobby too, where there could be multiple people in there. So there's like a lot of different ways to interact with it. And it's all online. There's an offline lobby, of course, if you can't or don't want to connect online. But it's neat the way it's set up. First of all, the game is like super pretty. It looks like anime.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's really easy to play. There's a ton of auto combos in the game, including ones that will like end in super moves and stuff like that. But then you could also do your own combos. But the game doesn't punish you for like auto combos like the Marvel vs. Capcom games or anything like that, where like will do less damage. Like even some of the combos you want to like mash out an auto combo at the end to extend it to get more hit points. So it's not like you're going to be doing like significantly less damage if you do your own auto combo, and you could actually like integrate them into fuller combos. All the fireballs and stuff are just on one button because it's like fucking Dragon Ball. Everybody's throwing fireballs and shit. You don't want to be doing button input combinations like quarter circles and stuff to do, which you can to make them stronger, but just basic ones you could just mash out stuff. And God, it's so pretty. Story mode is cool. They got all the voice actors from both Japan and the US versions. I couldn't find the English version at first because it defaults to Japanese voice language, which is super weird because nobody in America wants to listen to old lady Goku voice. God, neither of you watched Dragon Ball, have you?
Not really, no.
Oh my God, you motherfuckers. All right, so in Japan, Goku has had the same voice actor since, like, because Dragon Ball spans a really long period of time where Goku starts where he's like a little 12-year-old and then he's like in his 20s in the later sagas. Anyways, they kept the exact same voice actor for him from the time when he was like a little boy to when he's old. So he just has this like super lady-sounding voice in the Japanese versions, which is terrible, and I don't know how anybody can stand it. But luckily, there was a English voice option in there, and I got Sean Schemmel sounding with his good Goku voice. The story mode's fun. It just sort of throws you like on a map with like points of interest, and if you like so many turns on the map, and you go to different spots on it, and you like do a fight, and then there's a boss, and I don't know. It's fun, and it has like everything's animated and voiced, and it's cool. And it's like it's more Dragon Ball. And actually got me super back into Dragon Ball, and then I started watching the anime again. So now I'm like fucking all super Dragon Ball nerding out. So I'm sorry.
Good job, Weeb.
Thanks, thank you. But it's a fun fighter. I think it's going to be at Evo, and so I think a lot more people are going to be checking it out there. And I have been playing Shadow of the Colossus, which I know Chris has also been playing.
I have also been playing this.
You've also been playing. Do you want to talk about Shadow of the Colossus, and I could join you in on that?
No, you can keep going, and I'll join you.
You asshole!
It's like you
asshole!
All right, fine. Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus was one of my favorite games back on the PS2, and I'm. When we talked about this when it was announced at E3, I was like, do we really need that? Because, I mean, it feels like it was just released on PS3, although I guess that was like 6 years ago at this point. But it's the original version is still a very good-looking game, but I think, that world and the atmosphere is a big part of it. So having a remake on PS4 kind of makes sense, and this is really is a gorgeous game. I'm up to, I think I beat the 4th Colossus at this point, and it plays, to me, it plays pretty much like the original. I tried the classic controls and the modern controls, and I think they both work pretty well.
What's the difference between the two?
The modern controls, I think it just remaps some of the buttons. I mean, it puts the bow and arrow on the triggers instead of the square button or whichever it was. It makes jump X instead of triangle, which was always a weird choice. But again, I always thought the uncomfortable controls were intentional, and I kind of liked that about it, because when you're climbing up a monster that's moving in any different direction, it's not supposed to feel perfect.
Yeah, weren't the climbing controls on the triggers before? Isn't that?
Yeah,
It's still on the trigger, actually. It moves from like R1 to R2 for the modern controls, which I don't know that makes a huge difference, but
I think the modern controls also give you a roll button instead of like having to do the crouch and jump together to roll, right?
It might. I haven't tried rolling.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm digging it. What do you think about it, Seth?
First of all, you're slow. I only picked this game up last night, and I beat 6 Colossi.
I told you I have no time. We already talked about that.
It's funny because the game's a lot easier than I remember. You could like choose from easy, normal, and hard mode, and I did normal just because that's what I usually do when I play games. But man, like normal is really fucking easy. But I think part of it is like the first time you play the game, it doesn't give you a lot of doesn't give you a lot of clues. You have to sort of figure out how to get on each Colossus and how to get to their weak points and stuff like that. And if you already know how to do that, I think it makes the game significantly easier. Yeah, definitely. At least in the early stages, the challenge is more figuring out what to do than actually executing on it. Yeah. The game is so fucking pretty, man. Yeah. This game is beautiful. And I thought the original was pretty, but Blue Point wants to fucking brag here. There's a gallery in the game now, and one of the like gallery subjects, I fucking can't talk right now, is like comparison screenshots of like the original game versus like the new game. So they're like bragging right there in the game, like here's how ugly the original one was, and here's how the new one looks. Oh wow, I haven't seen this yet. I got to check that out. Yeah, you need to go into the gallery.
I have a question about the visuals, and it's really more opinion than anything else. But like the original, well, it was on PS2, so it looked like smudgy shit, and
right. But that smudgy. It was smudgy shit with beautiful art direction.
Right. No, right. And I'm not really actually knocking it. It's the PS2 wasn't a powerhouse. But I feel like that smudgy shit kind of gave it its dreamlike quality. And from what I've seen of the new one, that's not really it looks great. Like especially like the sky and stuff. Like it looks really good. The color palette's great. But like that dreamlike quality just doesn't seem to be there. Does it lose something because of that, do you think?
I haven't played the original in a very long time. So I'm going to say no, because it looks better than my memory of it, and it doesn't really lose anything as far as I could tell. Wander's face looks a little weird when he's talking, but other than that, I think the art direction I think is still really solid and pulls through and makes like a whole I don't know. It doesn't feel really off in any way to me.
Yeah, I think it was Eurogamer had an article about like the kind of impressionistic look of the original game because it was so smudgy versus the
that's a good way to put it.
Super real look of the PS4 version, and I kind of agree with Seth. Like I think this still looks really good because the art direction is so strong. It's definitely a different look. It's certainly more real and everything is super detailed, but the art direction has always been so good that doesn't hurt it.
I think
it's definitely noticeably different, but still very good looking.
It's very like fantastical looking now, like so pretty that I think it has like its own sort of dreamy look to it, just in like how beautiful and like overwhelmingly so that everything looks.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I say super real, and like that's not the right way to describe it. Like everything is super detailed, but it still like doesn't lush. Feel like you're in the real world or anything.
Yeah, it's very like I said, fantastical. Yeah. But man, this game is so good. Just the bird Colossi, what is he, number 3 or 4 or something? Just when you jump on him for the first time and then just go whooshing and flying around and you're hanging onto him for dear life while you try to kill the poor bastard.
Yeah, that's the next one I go to. I think that's number 5.
Okay, it's just so amazing. It's just like a feeling that I don't think I've got from any other video game. Just thrilling excitement of just being up against something so massive while you're so small and just feeling like you're barely taking these things on. So I give it a 2 thumbs up remake.
Yeah,
I think there's like new weapons and shit too that you could access from the map screen, which I didn't even know. I was just barely reading about that today. Like they added in a bunch of collectibles and different weapons and stuff, and so they hit it pretty well. So it's not like obstructing the original vision of the game, but apparently there's a bunch of new crap in there as well.
Yeah, I got the special edition. I know it comes with a DLC to get a special sword or bow or something.
Yeah, I saw that when I was putting the game away last night after I was done playing. I was like, why the fuck's there a DLC voucher in here?
Yeah, I haven't redeemed it or anything yet, so I don't know if there's any special abilities with these different weapons, but I would imagine they do something different, but I haven't actually tried them yet.
I read there's like collectibles that you can find like all throughout the vast world now, and when you get them all, you get like some special sword as well that does some other stuff. So
that seems kind of weird. Doesn't seem like
it is. It's very weird, but it's very out of the way. They don't
fill up your rage meter to take on the Colossi.
I think the thing I saw the sword does is that it does extra damage, but you either like lose health while it's equipped, or you take more damage or something like that. So yeah, it's like weird new stat weapons.
It is kind of weird that they've added that stuff in though, because one of the things I always liked about Shadow of the Colossus is that it doesn't feel super gamey. You don't get a heart container after you beat one of the Colossus or something. You can kill lizards to refill your health, and I think you can find fruit on the trees and things to expand your health meter. But most of the time there's not really a HUD on the screen, and you don't find, like I said, you don't find heart containers and things like that. So adding collectibles, or upgradable weapons and things like that seems like an odd choice. But like I said, I haven't tried any new weapons yet. So
they probably felt like they had to do something like that.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's a very straightforward game, and it really does have this giant world for no reason at all, which is kind of cool. But I guess they decided to stick things in this giant world.
Yeah. Have you tried the photo mode at all?
I have not. No.
It's actually I haven't used it too much, but it's got a whole lot of options, which I think is super cool because, in this day and age, everybody loves to share their photos to Twitter and whatnot. But, you can at any point you can hit down on the D-pad and you can go into photo mode and you can rotate the camera around, and there's all kinds of options. You can put in different filters. You can change the saturation. You can do so many different things that you'd find in like Photoshop. Just on the fly.
It pauses the gameplay when you go into it?
Yep. And you can do it. You can do it any time. Like when you're playing the game, you can do it in cutscenes. You can do it pretty much any time. It does it instantly. So,
speaking of which, there's one thing about this remake that bugs me compared to the original. In the original, like in the cutscenes where the Colossus or the Colossi would be falling down, you could still like run around during that. Mm-hmm. And this one, it makes it until after the cutscene's done where you could start running.
Yeah.
And I used to try to run as far away from those black stringy things as I could, like even during the cutscenes. Mm-hmm. And I'd also like try to make it so it looked like the Colossus was falling on me, which I always liked. But other than that, great game.
Yeah. Overall, this seems like a really solid remake. I mean, to me, I like that the original controls are still in there. I know a lot of people hate them, but make them optional. I played 2 of the Colossi with the old controls and 2 with the new controls, and I think they both work fine. I mean, other than, my trying to transition between them and forgetting which button does what. I think they both work great. So, I think it's great.
Yeah. Is that all you've been playing?
I also played a bit of Celeste on the Switch.
How is that?
I really like it. It's a super hard platformer like Super Meat Boy or N Plus or something like that. And similar to Super Meat Boy, if you die, you respawn almost instantly, which makes it, it's hard, but it never feels unforgiving or frustrating. I shouldn't say it doesn't feel frustrating. I'm still relatively early. I'm sure there are times when it feels frustrating, but I always feel like I want to retry. I feel like I'm that close to getting something done, and it doesn't feel frustrating to die, which I really like, because a lot of these games are so hard, and it's a lot of trial and error and things like that, and that's not necessarily a problem. But if you're going to spend 10 seconds on a loading screen, I'm not going to want to retry 50 times or whatever. Mm-hmm. I've played, I think, 3 chapters so far. and they're always introducing new elements. The main mechanics of the game, I mean, you're platforming and you can slide down the walls, and there's a I don't want to say double jump, but it's like an air dash, and you can dash in any direction,
including up.
Including up, so you can use it as a double jump, but it's not necessarily is a double jump. And it's constantly introducing new things to make it more challenging and make it more interesting. So the first chapter has basically single screen levels, and excuse me. As soon as you get through a screen, you go to the next screen, and then you respawn on that screen. So, you get through this challenge pretty quickly, and then the levels start to get bigger as you get into newer chapters. In the second chapter, there are these blocks you can dive through, and when you air dash into them, it launches you through them, and you can kind of go further that way. And in the third chapter has a dark version of your character chasing you, so you have to stay ahead, and you can't really slow down, or you're going to get hit and you die. So it's a lot of fun, and it's always introducing new things, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I like games where they give you your set of moves, and then they just sort of expand what you could do with those as the game goes on. So it just keeps things interesting.
Yeah, so far it's not really introducing new mechanics; it's just using the same mechanics in different ways, which is really cool. It also, one thing I like is that it has collectible strawberries you can get, which, as far as I can tell, don't actually unlock anything, but it just gives you kind of a little extra challenge if you want that. Like you have in a Kirby game or a Yoshi game, where you don't have to get them, but if you want to try to go get this thing to make the level a little harder for you, you can, which is super cool. And they'll put them in these locations where they're floating over spikes, and if you touch them. If you touch the strawberry and then you fall on the spikes, you don't actually collect it. So you have to get back to the ground before you actually get it, which, adds an extra bit of challenge to it. But
if you die after that in the same
screen, you still have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you just need to get
it's
to a
not
safe
like you need to
spot
get it
once.
and then leave the screen to get it. It's just as soon as you get to safe ground, you're good. Which is nice, because they could definitely have made that a little more frustrating. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, that would suck trying to get it over and over because you're messing up on a different part.
Right, yeah.
The music that I've heard in this game is really, really good.
Yeah, the music is really strong, too. It's got this, a lot of melancholic, piano melodies, which is not what I'd expect from a game like this, but it's really nice, and it's kind of relaxing for when you're, doing these super hard challenges. But, yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend checking it out. I'm in the third area I'm in. Actually, there's this computer where you can actually go and play an 8-bit version of this game. And I mean, this is not a super technologically advanced looking game. I mean, it looks like a Super NES game or something. But then there's a mini game that is actually an even less advanced version of it that has 8-bit melodies or 8-bit remixes of some of the songs, which is there's a lot of fun to this game. And like I said, always changing things up, and it's super cool.
Yeah, I want to get this one.
Yeah, I might have to get this.
Yeah, I actually didn't know a lot about it when I picked it up. I just saw a lot of people talking about it and said, well, there's a new indie game on Switch. Might as well jump in, and I'm glad I did.
And that's how all these indies keep selling on Switch.
Yeah.
It's people going, why not?
That's me.
That's you.
Yep.
I'm gonna get that Owl Boy next week.
Is that out on Switch?
It's out on the 13th, February 13th on Switch. I'm actually kind of torn because it's out on the eShop on the 13th, but I think in May it's coming out physical.
I did see that.
And I a year ago it would have been a no-brainer. I'm like, I'll wait for the physical one, but I'm at a point where I don't really care that much. And one of the nice things about Switch is for me anyways, having 80 gajillion really good modern indie games right there on the SD card, and I don't have to swap it out. So the collector in me is wait for the physical release, but the practical 34-year-old Craig is dude, just fucking download it.
It's getting both PS4 and Switch are getting physical versions.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. You want to do news?
Yeah, let's do news.
Cool.
Let's do news.
Let's do news. Let's start with Xbox Game Pass, which I didn't actually know was a thing, but apparently is a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing either until this thing.
Yeah. Apparently, Xbox Game Pass, starting with Sea of Thieves, will include access to all first-party games. Xbox Game Pass is kind of a Netflix-style thing where you sign up for a subscription and it gives you access to certain games.
It's $10 a month or something ridiculous.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't stream them. It's not like the PlayStation Now.
Right, it's not like
whatever.
PlayStation Now. You download these and you keep them until...
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Heavily DRM'd, of course, but yeah, downloads them.
I wonder how that's going to change like sales of physical games at stores, or even just downloadable sales, because that's a pretty ballsy thing
is it
to do.
$10 a month? I thought it was a little bit more than that.
Let's find out.
I think they had a 6-month pass that was $60, so the monthly one is probably a little more than that.
Yeah, I thought you had to buy it in 6-month chunks at $60. I don't know.
I mean, that still comes out to $10 a month.
Well, the thing is that Microsoft's in a weird position where they're not really producing a lot of first-party games. We're like, oh, Game Pass includes all first-party games. Cool. What? All 12 of them? They're not cranking these things out.
And moving forward, so all 2 a year, Craig.
Right. And I think there's more than I think that it's not just for first-party games. There's other games on there too. So there's a benefit to Microsoft because this is a way for them to make money that isn't like a packaged product. Because they're not putting out a ton of packaged products. Instead, you get, a recurring $10 a month. If I'm trying to make money here, what do I want? $60 once a year or $120 for the whole year. And the customer thinks they're getting value. I'm making more money than I probably would have. It's a win-win. The Game Pass is actually a great idea. I mean, I would be floored if it was on a system that actually had first-party games.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If this was Nintendo or Sony, I would be totally in.
Right. I memean, between this and Microsoft's commitment to backwards compatibility, which they've pulled off phenomenally well, they're doing some cool stuff that the other two guys aren't really doing. It's just one of the things that they aren't doing that the other guys are doing is making fucking games. So it makes their platform a lot less attractive, even if it does have cool stuff like robust backwards compatibility and this Game Pass.
Yeah, I do think their backwards compatibility is awesome. I mean, I don't have an Xbox One, but that's one of the things that's really enticing me, that makes me interested in one. But, I mean, the main reason to get a system is for the new games. I'm not going to buy one for all the 360 games I've already played.
Right. It's just really convenient if you also happen to buy an Xbox One for, Sunset Overdrive. Or
exactly.
whatever.
It's appealing, but it's not going to make me buy the system.
They even have original Xbox games on there now, right?
I'm not 100% sure.
All right. I want to say yes.
Yeah, no, you could be right. I just know that the 360 games...
You're the only one here with an Xbox One, correct?
Mine's been unplugged for a very long time. I haven't played it since Rare Replay came out. I hate the user interface. It feels like a system that wants to get in your way. You turn it on, and it wants to put shit in your way before you can play your game or do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, no, I pulled up a thing. Play 3 generations of games. They have a bunch of Xbox original Xbox games. Cool.
Yeah, I don't like the user interface. It's so agonizing to use, and there's no real. I prefer the multi-plats on PS4, and there's just not a lot of exclusives on there. Rare Replay was the last one I cared about.
Yeah, that was the last time I was really interested in getting an Xbox One.
And if you can get an older Xbox One, not one of the Xbox One X's, but one of the older ones for cheap, and you can get the Master Chief Collection and Sunset Overdrive and Rare Replay. You can get, those 4 games that are worth getting that are exclusive to the machine.
And that Kinect, of course.
No, fuck the Kinect. But I would say almost that's worth it, because those, the games that are exclusive and that are good do pack that value. But if you have a Windows-based PC, you can play a good chunk of the quote-unquote exclusives on the Xbox One already. You don't need an Xbox One for that.
Yeah. No, had zero interest in it since I wanted to play Dead Rising 3, but that came and went. So I don't know. Maybe like in 10 years, I'll find a cheap Xbox One, play the 5 exclusives I want to play for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel.
Although it's rumored that there's a Fable in development, and I mean, you guys may not care about that, but that
No.
I'm a big
dust
Fable
that
fan.
shit off. You're gonna dust off.
I will.
that
No,
Xbox.
if there is a Fable in development, and it's not like here's a bunch of microtransaction loot boxes and whatever bullshit that Microsoft would put in their games. I will dust it off and play that Fable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the few games that will get me to do that.
Dragon Ball Fighters has loot boxes, but it's all in-game everything. Like, you could only earn the money for it in-game. So there's no outside purchases, which is nice.
I think it's actually Dragon Ball Fighter
What's even
Z.
the point of that then?
I mean, like, Smash Bros. Has done similar stuff. Where,
Oh,
like,
that's
you
a
could
good point.
throw
That's a fair point,
random
yeah.
coins into, like, a slot
Yeah.
machine and whatever. Just extends the longevity of the game, I guess.
Just makes it irritating. Yeah, that's a good point.
What else?
All right, let's move into our Nintendo News Hour.
All right.
Miitomo is shutting down. For the three of you out there still playing Miitomo, they have stopped selling coins at this point, I believe, and the app will shut down in May. And by shut down, I mean the service won't work, and you won't be able to even make photos or anything anymore.
Yeah, you just won't be. I know because I actually log into Miitomo now and then just to get, like, their free daily coins or whatever that they give you, and it's like, sorry, we're shutting down. I was like, oh no, I kind of almost care. But yeah, and then like a thing popped up like, you won't be able to use anything at all. The app won't even launch. So I was like, oh, because I like their Me Photo things.
They should
Even
actually
though-
relaunch it as some sort of just like Me photo booth.
Yeah,
Yeah, the photo stuff was
think-
cool. Like, it'd be nice to have that on the device, even if you...
Yeah. Well, that should be a separate app. I think Miitomo's done. It was a little experiment that they did. They dipped their toes in the water, and I think it was actually fun the first couple of weeks. It was a
Yeah.
social thing. Everybody else was doing it. I lost interest after that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Kill the app. Not many people are playing anymore. But a photo booth, that photo booth, the photo function part of that was the best part.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they fucking, I don't know, like, they had no idea what they were doing with any of the rest of the game, because all that, answers and questions stuff, that's fun for a week. It's fun for a week, but, like, there's so much more potential you could have done in that game.
Yeah.
There's, like, no point to, like, later on they, like, added so you could do, like, wallpapers and carpets, and, like, that's cool. It does, like, barely anything. It's like wasted potential. I think that was a huge wasted potential of an app. They could have done some fun stuff in there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
well.
they keep some of those ideas and maybe do just a photo booth app.
Yeah,
at some
just
point.
trim all the fat and keep weird mini games where you can spend real money to like get clothes or whatever, and then take crazy photos. Like that's all the app really needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love taking pictures with their games now. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That would be great.
The Switch has outsold the Wii U. The Wii U was a console that Nintendo made a few years ago. For those of you who don't know,
I thought that was an add-on for the Wii.
oh, you could be right. I don't remember.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a tablet that you had for your Wii.
As of December of 2017, the Wii U had sold 13.5 million, and the Switch has sold 14.86 million. So
That's absolutely bonkers on both ends of that. Just how poorly the Wii U sold, but also just how much the Switch is selling.
I know they've done a killer job with this thing. I mean, I think we all initially bought into the Switch because we wanted to play Zelda on the best thing possible. But it's had so much momentum. I mean, we talked about those indie games that just keep coming out and keep selling. Like, the system is selling, the games are selling. It's doing way better than I ever expected.
Well, it refined the best because when the Wii U came out, like I love the Wii U conceptually. It's a fine system. It has a dozen really great games on it. But like the Switch is just is a refined version of the best aspects of the Wii U.
And the Wii U was just marketed poorly as shit. I mean, anecdotally, but I've heard from several people who didn't know that there was a system between the Wii and the Switch. for all they know, the Wii U never even existed. It was just kind of a disaster of a system for Nintendo.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. It's the marketing and just like how they talked about it, the messaging behind the system, which I guess is kind of marketing at the same time. But
and the name, and just everything.
Everything
was
about
bad.
it was really bad, which is a shame because, like I said, like I didn't mean that as a joke when I said there's a dozen good games on it. Like that sounds like a dozen. That's it. But I mean, like they're like 12
really
games
good
are
games.
really good games. You're talking Bayonetta 2, Mario Maker. I mean, there's a dozen solid games that are worth buying the system for. But yeah, it's. I mean, the controller looks weird, like that glossy, rounded corners. That shit, that's out. Like, who came up with that?
And the Switch is sleek as fuck.
Yeah,
The Switch is nice.
Yeah, I do think it's a good thing that Nintendo is porting a lot of these Wii U games to the Switch because there are, like you said, there are some really strong games on there that people just haven't played. You know, I think it's great that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is coming and Hyrule Warriors is coming and Bayonetta. So hopefully these games get a bigger audience that they really deserve.
I guarantee every single one of these games will outsell the Wii U counterparts.
Oh, no doubt.
I say bring as many Wii U games as you can over. I mean, bring original stuff too. I don't want it just to be a cavalcade of Wii U re-releases. But like, if they can find a balance between Wii U re-releases and new stuff, just bring them all. Party's over here on Switch now, fellas. Come on over. That's it.
Because those were great games that only 13 million people played.
And suckers like me will buy them twice. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, for the record, Mario Kart 8 on Wii U sold over 8 million copies, and that's insane considering that there are only 13 million systems out there. But I have no doubt that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch is going to outsell that if it hasn't already.
It's very close to outselling it already.
Yeah.
Mario sold 9 million copies.
9 million.
It came out in October. That's bananas.
Jeez.
Almost everyone who has a Switch owns Mario.
Yeah. Well, that's like back when the Switch came out. I think Zelda sold more copies than the Switch did because people were buying that special edition. That's also because of dumbasses
like me who bought. I have like 5 copies of that game.
I only have 2, so plus the Wii U version.
You only have 3.
I only have 3 because I bought that stupid Explorers edition because I needed that map and that book. Anyway, they're making a Mario movie, you guys.
We talked about this before, kind of.
Yeah, we talked. This was like rumored for a while, but it's been officially announced that Nintendo is collaborating with. Is it Illumination that made the Minions movies and the Despicable Me movies? I don't know. This is a thing.
Get ready to listen to Charles Martinet for 1.5 hours straight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be weird. If he's the voice actor, yeah. I don't see how they could go with anyone else.
Right, but at this point, he's been doing it so long, he has to.
It's super iconic, yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to hear him
Nobody wants to
carry on conversations like that. He just says, Mamma Mia, and spaghetti, and like that's all I want to hear.
You, when I went to E3 2004, like before they walked us into the DS area, they like lined us all up in this room, and then there was a big screen above head with Mario talking, and Charles Martinet was like Wizard of Ozing behind like a little curtain while he was like looking at the audience and like saying different things. Just listening to him talk for like 5 minutes straight was fucking maddening. It was like weird. It was weird and maddening. So I don't know how they're gonna do his voice in a movie.
Thank you so much for watching my movie.
The thing is too, he does like all the different Mario voices too. He does like Luigi and Peach, and maybe he doesn't do Peach, but he does a bunch of those. Yeah,
Peach, Yoshi.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to listen to all these characters talk for an hour and a half.
I don't think I could do that.
But Mario, it's your brother.
Partnering with Illumination, though, is probably the best way they could go in terms of like having a family-friendly movie that isn't like Anthony Hopkins and whatever the fuck. Whatever that was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that Nintendo is overseeing this and they're getting a good studio to do it. So it should be at least, faithful to the Mario brand, which is more than you could say for that 1993 movie.
Classic movie.
I love that movie.
That movie's insane, but Mario is not.
Yeah. And my understanding is Miyamoto's a producer. He's like, well, I'm 75. Time to be a movie producer.
He's co-producing it, so he's gonna
Which doesn't necessarily mean all that much, but hey,
nah,
put his name on there. That's fine.
I think if his name's going to be attached, he's going to want to make sure it's not complete shit.
Although, if I remember hearing a story about the development of GoldenEye, and Miyamoto suggested to Rare that at the end of the game, Bond went to the hospital to visit all his enemies and shake hands with them at the end.
That would have been amazing. That would have been the best ending ever. So
I mean, if that's I mean, he's a producer, not a director or a writer, so maybe that doesn't mean anything. But man,
no, if that's his input. If he has input like that on
that's
the movie, I am all in. I am all in.
Oh, that's amazing. Speaking of Mario, we're getting a Mario Kart Tour as a mobile game coming sometime before March of next year. It'll be free to start, and that's about all they've said about it.
Does free to start mean it's going to be like Mario Run, where you get like a free bit and then you pay for the rest, or does that mean in-app purchases?
I don't know what that means. I mean, it kind of implies that it's going to be more like the Mario Run model, but I don't know that did as well for them as something like Fire Emblem Heroes.
Like that. Maybe you buy cups or something like that, and you can pick and choose. That would be interesting. Yeah. I wonder if it plays like those early racers on iOS, where you just sort of hold the phone sideways and either tilt or tap buttons. It'd be pretty simple to pull off.
I'm using tilt controls.
Yeah, everybody's using tilt controls now. Yeah, I have no idea like what to expect from this. This could be terrible or fun. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say about it because they haven't said a lot about it, but I'm intrigued. I mean, I'll try it.
Yeah, I haven't actually given it much thought, but now that we're discussing it, I'm thinking about it. If it is, like a quote unquote full-fledged Mario Kart, and which again is not that difficult to pull off on a mobile device. The lesser studios have done something competent on it, and you actually, I don't know, buy tracks or cups or something or characters, and not like buy passes. Or something. Yeah,
if you're buying passes to enter the Grand Prix or something, that's bullshit. So
right, I don't want that.
It's Mario Kart Arcade GP, which just fucking sucks. Even if you win, you still got to pay to keep playing.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. But if it's more like Mario Run, when you're buying pieces of content rather than little doodads to keep playing microtransactions or whatever. It actually could be pretty decent.
Nintendo's like phone business model, though, is to like gimp the phone version in some way, so you don't get that fulfilling experience. Like Mario Run's like auto running, and Pocket Camp, you like just have these little areas that you auto travel between. And
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would agree that Mario Run is gimped. I just think Mario Run is different. I mean, because like a traditional Mario would feel shitty on a phone. I think we can all agree to that.
I would agree.
So I think what they did with Mario Run, it's simple, but I wouldn't call it gimped. I would say it is what it needs to be. Fire Emblem is maybe you can call that gimped.
I think with Mario Run, it is what it needs to be, but that just inherently makes it a lesser, because there's like less involved level design and exploration, and
the level design is great. I think the level design is
great for what it is.
Surprisingly fun for what it was.
But as far as exploration goes, there's
like as far, I mean, compared to a full-fledged Mario version, it's not comparable. It's great for what it is.
I mean, Fire Emblem's pretty competent for a free game.
No, Fire Emblem's fucking fleshed out as fuck. I mean,
it's certainly there's a certain scaling back on that. Animal Crossing has a little bit of a scaled back, but I think that's probably more to accommodate its pick up and play microtransaction. I think that's probably more trying to meet the mobile market and where the mobile market is at than anything else.
I will say that none of the games feel as satisfying as their console counterparts.
Oh, sure. No.
Right.
I think the best one they've done is Mario Run, which is, I think, the one that's probably drawn the most ire. Because I got to pay $10 for this game, but like it was, I would rather do that, and it was a lot of fun. It was really good.
I totally got my $10 worth on that game.
Yeah, the Mario run's really good. But I think, like I said, I feel like that's just a different approach to Mario more than it's something it's satisfying in its own right. But yeah, it's not.
I guess intentionally gimping was poorly phrased. I guess just they don't want to one up their console development in any way.
Oh, that's true.
They want to be like, here's
it.
an experience that you could get. Now you could get an even better experience if you buy a Switch.
I'm sure that is number one.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
totally intentional. But I also think number two is that they don't want to give a false impression of like their games, because if they put a full-fledged Mario on there with like a shitty on-screen D-pad or whatever, and it played like shit, which it totally would, then it would give people the impression that Mario is shit.
Right.
So they don't want to do that either.
I've had like my different nephews actually, like I'll see them playing like Super Nintendo ROMs on their phones or something. Be like, oh, I can't beat this. I'm like, let me see that, and then I try playing it. I'm like, this feels like fucking crap. I don't know how you're like even coming close to playing this, because the on-screen buttons mixed with shoddy emulators are just it's a not fun
it's
show.
terrible.
But So yeah, now they want to put their best foot forward as far as the mobile games go, but they don't want to one up their console development.
Right. I do appreciate that they're putting their best foot forward, though. I mean, like I said, Mario Run was surprisingly fun. I mean, I didn't have high expectations for that, but I really liked it. And I hope the same is true of Mario Kart Tour. You know, because I think that's the type of game that could be played well on a phone. I mean, it probably has to be like not gimped, but different from the console version, but it could still be very fun. So I hope this turns out good. I'm interested to see what it is.
We'll see.
And lastly, they're going to change it so that you can spend my Nintendo Gold coins on Switch to buy games.
I can spend your Nintendo Gold coins?
You can. I'll send them to you right now.
Thank you.
Is this like a Bitcoin transaction?
I don't think they're worth quite as much as Bitcoin, but I could be wrong on that.
No, they're not thousands of dollars for one Bitcoin. Today. Tomorrow they might be $50. I don't even know.
I have no idea. To this point, gold coins have been able to be redeemed for coupons. You spend 50 coins or whatever, and you get a coupon for 20% off of a game or something like that.
But not Switch games, to be clear.
Right, not Switch. It's been only valid on
Switch.
Wii U and 3DS games, I believe. But you're going to be able to, for every certain amount of money you spend, you'll get 5% back. So if you buy a $50 game on the eShop, you'll get 250 coins, or $2.50 basically. And you'll get some money for retail games as well, although that'll be 1% rather than 2.5%, which makes sense. I mean, they want to push those digital games because they make more money. But obviously, this is not a huge amount of money back. But it's cool that they're doing something like this. I mean, when they had the Digital Deluxe program on the Wii U, which again nobody bought a Wii U, but it's a great way to entice people to buy games, and it's a way to get people going to the eShop, and people are already going to the eShop, so I think this is a great idea.
Yep.
I think
money for spending money.
It's one of those things where like logically it's fine, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy a game anyway, you get a little extra on the side, and it adds up, and then over time you're probably not earning enough to like get an entire free $60 retail release on the eShop. But you are earning enough to take a significant chunk off like a $20 indie game, right? So if you're buying games you're already buying, and then in a few months you can, take half off a $20 indie game, that's good. There's no way to dress that up as bad. But
I mean, especially since a lot of people are like, oh, $20, I'm not going to spend that much, and then they might be inclined to when they're only spending $10.
Exactly. Right. And it's also worth keeping in mind that as far as I can tell, this is publisher agnostic. This isn't Nintendo published titles. This is anything that you buy nets you gold coins, and gold coins can be put towards a discount on any game on the eShop. And that's worth keeping in mind, which is probably why the value isn't super high, because I'm sure Nintendo's the one eating the cost,
right?
Particularly for third-party titles. But and so all those things make sense logically, and I know logically I'm fine with that. But like emotionally, I guess I don't know. I'm not really emotional about it, but whatever the opposite of logically is, it still doesn't feel like a whole lot. It just feels like, well, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is not going to get me to go buy a ton more indie games, but I mean,
right?
It's a nice little bonus. I'm buying those games anyway, and so are a lot of people. So really, they don't have to do this. There's no reason they have to try to get people to buy indie games. They're already buying them. People are buying stuff on the eShop. It seems like from what I'm reading. But if I'm buying those games anyway, and I'm getting a little benefit for it, and I get a discount off, 5 games from now, then that'll be nice. So.
I think it'll be more significant to people who are all in on digital and like buy the full priced retail games digitally as well. And
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because like if you're just buying $10 games here and there, that's going to take a fucking while to add up. But when you're buying $60 games, you'll obviously get more money back faster.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe they want to push people to do that.
Yeah. So it doesn't help me all that much, but...
Yeah, because $60 games I'm still going to buy because I have Amazon Prime and I get the 20% off, and it just makes sense for me to do that.
But I know a lot of people are going all digital these days, so I'm sure it'll be a boon to them.
Yeah, sure. Especially on the Switch. I mean, going digital, I wouldn't blame anybody if they did, because then you got all those games no matter where you are. Mm-hmm. You don't have to carry your big, carrying case like you had to do for your Game Boy back in the day.
Until your SD card fills up.
I got a 200 gig SD card, man. I'm good for a while.
Nice.
That's it for news.
That's it for news. I'm gonna do one mailbag question real fast, just because I think Craig would be good at this. Colton on Twitter asks, any suggestions for games to play with your significant other? My girlfriend is wanting to get more into video games, and I was wanting some fun couch co-op games to show her. Love the show, guys. Craig.
Well, couch co-op. The Switch is probably pretty good for that. If we're talking about the Switch, there's Overcooked and Puyo Puyo Tetris and Mario Kart.
Snipper Clips.
And Snipper Clips, right. That's a good one. I forgot all about that. That's also a great game. And then Stardew Valley will be getting an update. Stardew Valley is a great single-player game, but it's getting a multiplayer update here in the near future. So, yeah, those are my suggestions, particularly on Switch.
And I think upcoming the new Kirby game and new Yoshi game, because I played Woolly World with my girlfriend, and we had a lot of fun with that together. So I'm sure the next one will be super fun co-op as well.
Oh, I got butthurt as fuck when I played that with Megan.
Why?
Because bluntly, I'm better than her, and I had no patience. I had none. I was an ass. No, I'm not dressing this up other than the fact that I was a butthole. Like, I was a butthole. I was just like mad.
When I play games with my girlfriend, I have to like mentally tell myself like I just need to be completely chill about the entire thing, and I'm not going to get the same experience as when I'm playing alone. So I just need to be, just let everything slide. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, I guess I'm looking for the same experience as when I'm playing alone. Like, I'm looking to make the same progress rather than enjoying a game with my girlfriend. So I have to play different types of games with her. Games where I'm not looking to make progress. So, like, maybe like Mario Kart, or like the other games that we were talking about, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Overcooked. Right. Games where I'm not looking to get ahead. Because if I'm looking to get ahead, it's like, just put the controller down. I'll do it myself.
There were still a lot of times where I would just pick her up in my mouth and then spit her where I needed her to go because...
Wait, what? Oh, Yoshi.
And then we played Yoshi.
And then we played... Yeah, there's no bubbling in Yoshi's Woolly World. You suck them up.
Yeah, it's a very sensuous video game.
Oh, God.
But no, when I first started talking to my girlfriend, and we hadn't even like met. No, we hadn't met in person. But anyways, we were playing Animal Crossing on 3DS, and we were like on the island together. And she like scared off a rare bug that I was trying to catch, and I yelled at her. And then I felt like so bad. Like, why the fuck am I yelling at her about this video game? Who gives a shit? And after that, I just had to readjust my demeanor like when I'm playing games with her, because otherwise I get too serious.
Yeah, you're a better man than me.
So I hope that answers your question, Colton. That's it for Mailbag.
Is that it for this episode then?
That's it for the episode.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud. That's where our home is, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio. You can subscribe, you can stream, you can download, which is very convenient. You can also find us, of course, on your favorite podcast app, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. We also ask that please review us on one of those apps, preferably Apple Podcasts. It really does help us. We haven't had a review in a good long while, so why don't you guys scratch that 7-year itch, please?
It helps our self-esteem. Please do it.
It does help our self-esteem. It's great. Our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig, on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at TV and Lust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Seth Castellum, and Chris.
I am on Twitter and Instagram at echrisdunn.
And we're out.
Bye-o.
Fart noise.
God damn it.